let's just get right into it, because today we are going to do a completely cynical but absolutely lovable roast of your very own brain. Yeah, that squishy little computer inside your skull that you trust to make all your major life choices. Turns out it's a remarkably lazy, easily tricked liar. We're breaking down this wild psychological glitch called the Benjamin Franklin effect. And look, by the end of this explainer, you're going to realize that half of your friendships might just be the result of your brain completely scamming itself. It's hilarious, it's honestly a little terrifying, and it's 100% backed by science. So, do favors make people like you? Think about this fundamental assumption we all walk around with. Since kindergarten, we're taught the basic math of human interaction, right? If I do something nice for you, you will like me. If I help you move your terribly heavy couch, or lend you a pencil, or buy you a coffee, you're going to logically conclude that I'm just a wonderful person. It makes total sense. It is the golden rule of making friends. But your brain doesn't actually run on logic. No, it runs on a deeply weird, completely counterintuitive twist. In our minds, the equation is so simple. I help you, therefore you like me. But your brain is running a scam behind your back. Here is the actual punchline of human psychology. I help you equals I like you. Boom. When you do a favor for someone, you end up liking them more, even if you literally didn't like them very much to begin with. Think about that. You are doing the work, you are burning your own energy, and somehow your brain decides to reward the other person with your affection. It's a total scam. You are hacking your own mind. Which brings us to section 1. Meet cognitive dissonance, also known as the brain's terrible PR manager. Now, the dictionary defines cognitive dissonance as the mental discomfort of holding contradictory beliefs. But let me translate that from stiff academic jargon into reality. Your brain absolutely hates feeling like a hypocrite. If your actions and your feelings don't match up, your brain goes into full-blown panic mode. So, if you help someone you actively dislike, your brain is suddenly facing a PR crisis. Instead of just admitting, hey, I just did something nice for absolutely no logical reason, your brain takes the pathetic, super lazy way out to fix the disaster. It literally alters your feelings to match your actions. Your brain immediately starts doing Olympic-level mental gymnastics. It goes, wait, why would I help someone I don't like? That's so weird. I guess I actually do like this person a little bit. That is literally your mind sweeping its own nonsensical actions under the rug. You lend a classmate you barely tolerate your favorite pen, and suddenly your brain is bending over backwards saying, well, I certainly wouldn't lend my precious pen to a jerk, therefore they must be a fantastic person. It's so absurd. Your brain changes your feelings to match your actions rather than the other way around. And that leads into section 2, Ben Franklin's sneaky trick, or manipulating the haters. Because Benjamin Franklin wasn't just some guy flying kites, he was a mastermind manipulator. Let's look at the timeline here. In year 1, Franklin had this political rival who absolutely hated his guts, despised him. Now, most of us would try to win a hater over by flattering them, right? Or doing them a solid. Not Ben. In year 2, Franklin did something incredibly sneaky smart. He asked his enemy to do him a favor. He asked to borrow a highly prized, super rare book from the rival's personal library. The rival, probably incredibly confused, said yes. Later that same year, Franklin returns the book with a simple little thank you note. And the result? By year 3 and beyond, they were best friends forever. Literally, they stayed friends for the rest of their lives. Franklin flipped a hater into a buddy using nothing but a dusty old book and his rival's own cognitive dissonance. Moving on to section 3, the 1969 guilt trip, proving we are all gullible. So back in 1969, these researchers, Jecker and Landy, ran a study where subjects won a little bit of prize money in a contest. Great, right? But then, the researcher pulls a totally shameless move. He personally asks some of the winners to give their prize money back as a personal favor, claiming he was running low on funds. He acted like a broke beggar. Now look at this. The people who kept their money, their feelings for the researcher were completely average. But the people who got guilt-tripped into returning their hard-won cash, their affection skyrocketed. The people who essentially got scammed out of their winnings ended up liking the guy more than the people who got to keep the cash. No way, right? But it's absolutely true. Now, I do have to be completely fair to the science here. This is a real tool, but it is not some 100% guaranteed law of psychology magic trick. The strongest evidence for this phenomenon really stems from that one major 1969 study, plus a handful of follow-ups over the years. And it works best with small personal favors. You can't just walk up to a billionaire, ask them for a brand new Ferrari, and expect them to magically adopt you as their best friend. It's a real psychological glitch for sure, but it definitely has its limits.
Which brings us right into Section 4, Making Friends and Manipulating People, a cynical playbook.
Okay, here is your practical, slightly cynical guide to building connections by making other people do the heavy lifting for you. Want to make a new friend at school? Do not buy them lunch. Instead, ask a classmate you don't know well to help you understand a tricky homework problem. Weirdly enough, they will end up liking you more simply because they helped you out. Trying to break the ice? Borrow a pencil. Ask for their opinion on something. And for the adults out there at work, managers totally know this too. When an employee does a small favor for a manager, that employee actually ends up feeling more loyal to the boss. Team leaders can literally build team spirit by asking people to contribute small, helpful actions. It turns out sometimes the absolute fastest way to grow a relationship isn't offering help, it's having the audacity to ask for a small, genuine helping hand first.
But we do need to talk about the flip side in Section 5, boundaries and burnout, the dark room. Major scammer alert here, folks. Small favors can very easily turn into massive manipulation. This is where the Ben Franklin effect gets genuinely toxic. Fake people and literal scammers use this exact trick on purpose. They don't start by asking for your life savings on day one. No, they start by asking for a tiny favor, then another. They are deliberately weaponizing your cognitive dissonance to build fake trust. If someone is constantly asking you for favors just to engineer a relationship and you finally realize it, it feels incredibly sneaky and just gross. Nobody likes being tricked into liking someone.
So remember this, being kind doesn't mean saying yes to absolutely everything. If you're constantly on the receiving end of these favor requests, your brain might be actively tricking you into liking these people, but let me tell you, your body is going to feel the stress. People-pleasing and doing endless favors will just leave you totally exhausted, burned out, and bled dry by friends who only ever know how to take. You absolutely have to protect your time and your boundaries, even if it means rudely interrupting your brain's cozy little cognitive dissonance.
So who do you actually like and who just scammed you into doing them a favor? Seriously, I want you to genuinely look at your social circle, your coworkers, and your classmates today. Think about the people you hold dear. Did you really connect because of deeply shared values, or did they just ask you to help them move a horribly heavy couch 5 years ago and your lazy PR manager brain decided, well, I guess we're best friends now? It is a wild, hilarious reality of human nature. Use this knowledge to build genuine connections, keep an eye out for the scammers, and above all, forgive your brain for taking the lazy way out. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.